Hawaii, a place many see as paradise, hides a painful truth. Its child welfare system is in crisis. Families are being torn apart. Children are suffering. The Hawaii Coalition for Child Protective Reform and the Malama Ohana Working Group are sounding the alarm. They point to a system that is failing to protect the most vulnerable. A recent audit led by Mr. Kondo confirms these fears. It paints a stark picture of systemic failures and a shocking lack of accountability within the Department of Human Services and its Child Welfare Services branch. The audit's findings are disturbing. They reveal a system plagued by inconsistency and neglect. Communication is poor. Data is unreliable. Most alarmingly, there is a blatant disregard for the well-being of the children the system is supposed to protect. The audit uses harsh words. It describes CWS actions as inadequate, inconsistent, poor, untimely, unreliable, inaccurate, incomplete, outdated, and a failure. This is not just a system with problems. This is a system in desperate need of a complete overhaul. The crisis is not just about bureaucratic incompetence, it's about real lives. Families are being torn apart due to questionable practices and a lack of support. Children are being traumatized by a system that should be protecting them. The situation demands immediate and decisive action. The future of Hawaii's children depends on it. The heart of the crisis lies in a profound lack of accountability. The DHS and CWS operate with little oversight. Their actions often go unquestioned, even when families are harmed. This lack of accountability breeds a culture of impunity. Mistakes are repeated, complaints are ignored, and families continue to suffer. One of the most alarming issues is the violation of parental rights. Parents report being denied access to information about their own children. Visitation rights are often restricted, sometimes without justification. The system seems to operate on a presumption of guilt, making it far too easy to remove children from their homes. While foster care can be a necessary intervention in some cases, it should always be a last resort. The current system often seems to prioritize removal over preservation of families. The audit revealed that millions of dollars have been poured into the system, yet little has changed. Funds are mismanaged. Programs lack effectiveness. The system seems more focused on self-preservation than on serving the needs of children and families. This is unacceptable. Reform must begin with a thorough examination of how funds are allocated and used. Accountability measures must be put in place to ensure that resources are used effectively and that those who fail to protect children are held responsible. The emotional well-being of children must be at the forefront of any reform effort. The current system often exacerbates trauma rather than alleviating it. Children are moved from home to home, separated from siblings, and subjected to a revolving door of caseworkers. This is not only disruptive, but deeply traumatic. A trauma-informed approach recognizes the profound impact that abuse, neglect, and family separation have on children. It requires a fundamental shift in how caseworkers and service providers interact with children and families. Training is essential to ensure that everyone involved in the system understands the principles of trauma-informed care and can apply them in their work. Furthermore, the system must be culturally sensitive. Hawaii is a place of rich cultural diversity, particularly its indigenous population. The current system often fails to recognize or respect these cultural differences. This can lead to misunderstandings, mistrust, and further harm to families. Incorporating native Hawaiian cultures and values into child welfare practices is not just a matter of respect, it's essential for building trust and ensuring that services are effective. The challenges facing Hawaii's child welfare system are significant, but not insurmountable. There is hope. The HCCPR, MOWG, and other advocates are offering concrete solutions. These solutions are not radical. They are based on common sense, compassion, and a deep commitment to the well-being of children. Transparency is key. All CWS interactions should be recorded. This simple measure would increase accountability and help to protect both families and caseworkers. The proposed open initiative, which would provide support to both families and overburdened caseworkers, is a promising step towards building a more collaborative and effective system. Education and training are also crucial. All individuals working with children and families, including caseworkers, judges, and service providers, should receive mandatory training on trauma-informed care, cultural sensitivity, and best practices in child welfare. This training must be ongoing and should be integrated into the culture of the DHS and CWS. The upcoming legislative session is a critical opportunity for change. Lawmakers must listen to the voices of families and advocates. They must pass legislation that ensures accountability, strengthens families, and prioritizes the well-being of children above all else. The time for action is now. The children of Hawaii deserve a system that protects them, supports them, and helps them to thrive. We cannot afford to wait any longer. The future of Hawaii's children is at stake.